The five aggregates of clinging, or the cinco agregados do sofrimento, play a very important role in the Buddha's teaching. In the First Noble Truth, the Buddha defined suffering as birth, old age, sickness, and death. Then second definition was not getting what one wants and getting one what doesn't want is suffering. And at the end he said, in short, the cinco agregados to apego are suffering. And so the five aggregates of clinging play a very important role and are the main topic of Vipassana meditation. So Vipassana meditation means seeing the body and mind as it is. And the body and mind is a interconnection of the five aggregates. And so I want to explain these five aggregates of clinging and how they and the process of the Vipassana meditation. The five aggregates basically are the elements of our body and the mind, and they're like five layers. Our body and mind is like five layers, from the gross to the subtlest layers of consciousness. And our body is the outer layer and the external world. So this physical body and the external world of sounds and objects are what is called the first group of grasping, or the first aggregate of clinging, because we cling to these objects as being I, me, and mine. And we develop attachments to them. And we develop craving and aversion to these sensory objects. And that keeps our mind locked in its routine patterns of action and reaction and negative types of reactions. So we have to be able to let go of the body and the external world in order to keep directing the mind inwards, because Vipassana meditation is a process of directing the letting go of the external world and directing the mind in through the body, through the various subtler layers of mental experience, to the very core of the mind, to the source of thought, to the source of consciousness. So in the practice of the meditation, we center ourselves in the body and learn to let go of the outer world and even to this physical body. We have to get under the skin. So the first aggregate is the physical body, the outside of the physical body and the external world that we have to let go of, or disapego, in order to reach the second aggregate. And the second aggregate is called the aggregate of sensations, or sensações. And in the body, you feel these sensações as so many different sensações coming and going in the body. The body is made up of cells, molecules, atoms that are always changing. And also, the sensações have the three qualities: the pleasant feeling, the painful feeling, and the neutral feeling. So some of these sensações are, doras, or painful, and so we cling to them with aversion. Or other sensations are pleasant, so we cling to those with cobiça, or desire, and the mind gets stuck there. And because of this attachment to the sensations, we also then will create karma, actions of body, speech, based on the attachment to these sensations. But the sensations are very important. They're the beginning phase of the mental process. So we experience a sensation in the body or in the mind, and the mind feels it as something pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, and then reacts to it. But the mind has created these ideas of painful or pleasant, In actuality, no object is inherently painful or pleasant, but it's the way that we've been trained to react to these sensations. For example, when you see a particular type of food, you might have produce a pleasant or unpleasant feeling in you, and you think, I like this food or I don't like this food because of the sensation that it produces in the mind. The pleasant taste or the pleasant smell, we get attached to these sensations. So we have to, in Vipassana, we train ourselves just to notice, first of all, the body sensations. So you feel, let's say, an itch on the body, and you just make a note of sensasign, and you disapego, you let go of it, and just try to see how this sensasign lasts for a few moments, builds up to a peak, and then it disappears. But you can see the mind trying to react to it, but you relax around it, and you let this sensation well up, come to a peak, and then disappear. Or you might have a pleasant sensation arise in the body, and you also just train yourself to see how this pleasant sensation arises, comes to a peak, and disappears, and how the mind tries to attach to that pleasant sensation. So, in the same with sounds, you hear a pleasant sound, and you can see the mind trying to enjoy it or grasp it. Or there's a painful sound, and you can see how the mind kind of pulls away from it. So we train ourselves simply to observe and to note, this is a pleasant sensation, this is a painful sensation, and to see how they just sujir and desaparecendo, or they arise and they pass away, but without clinging to them. But normally we cling to them. That's why they're called the aggregates of clinging, or apego. And so by observing the sensations, we can see how they're impermanent, and they only last a few seconds and disappear. And so we can keep our mind centered in the body, in the breathing body, letting go of all the various sensations. So there's body sensations, there's sensations produced by hearing, sensations produced by seeing, smelling, tasting, and even sensations in your mind. You might be sitting and have a unpleasant memory of the past. So that's a painful sensation that you don't want to think about. Or you create some pleasant fantasy, and so you get a pleasurable feeling from imagining some pleasant fantasy. So even sensations are produced by our thoughts. So in Vipassana meditation, we train ourselves to let go of all these various types of sensations so that we can gain a deeper concentration. When we cling to the sensations, it disturbs our concentration, and our practice doesn't go deeper. And so by letting go of the sensations, you reach the third aggregate, called the perceptions. And perceptions are the mental pictures that pop out of the mind, produced by the sensations. The sensations are basically just vibrations, or vibrations. But because of memory, the mind will remember that vibration and create a picture out of it, like a sound, like hearing. So you're sitting in meditation, you hear a sound, like the sound of a bird. So what you hear is just sound, a sound vibration. But because of memory, the mind recognizes that sound as a bird, or a certain type of bird. And that mental image, or remembrance of it, is the perception. And when we cling to the perception, then we'll start thinking about it. And we'll start thinking about the past, thinking about the future, developing more kobisa or haiva, depending on our relationship to that object in the past. So, but in order to see perceptions, this is a deeper level of awareness. We have to have developed a certain good degree of pleine attention and concentration in order to see the perceptions. So we train ourselves in the Vipassana meditation when we're sitting and we hear a sound. We train ourselves just to be aware of ovindo, and know that it's just a sensation and not to create the perception out of it. Or if you have a pain in the body, to just make a note of sensation, sensações, and not turn that into a perception of my knee. If you have a pain in the body and you identify it as my body, then the mind clings to that perception and suffers from it, and it gets disturbed by it. So instead, we try to observe these perceptions and to let them go. And in that way, the mind can even reach a deeper level of concentration. And then we reach the fourth of the aggregate, is called the reacções, or the formações mental formation. And basically, this is the reactions to the feelings and the perceptions. We react to them with the various emotions, like greed, hatred, worry, anxiety, getting stressed out, and so many other mental reactions are triggered off by clinging to the perceptions. And so also the mental formations are the urges to do something. If you feel an itch on the body, you can feel that urge to want to scratch. But you just make a note of urging, or wanting, and you let go of that. You relax around that, and not give in to the urge to want to scratch. And that way you also reach a deeper level of awareness. So far we've covered the five aggregates, four of the five aggregates, the body being the our external shell, like the house, and then when we let go of that, we can reach the feeling of the feelings or sensações, pleasant, painful, and neutral sensações. We let go of that, and then we can directly observe the percepções. And we let go of the perceptions, and then you can perceive directly the mental formations and the reactions, the urges to do things. And you let go of that, and then you come to the most inner of the five aggregates, that of the consciousness itself. And consciousness has with it the sense of I. So I call it the I consciousness. Because even if you let go of the form, the sensations, perceptions, the mental formations, the mind becomes very quiet. Still there's the idea of I am meditating. And so we identify with this consciousness as being I. And the last stage of Vipassana is even to let go of this clinging to the sense of the I, so that you can directly experience the liberation of the mind from also the ego and all of the five aggregates. And perhaps I'll give another talk on the nature of consciousness later, so that will suffice for the sufficiente for this talk.